Okay. He's neglected his role.
Chocolate brownie.
No, take him to I'll get one there. I'll get one there.
It's their brain food, Miss C. It's their brain food.
Hey.
Oh, it's Corey Shu. Yeah, don't get stuff Corey Shu's like my best friend.
If you get deeper, they definitely scale with you.
By the way, guys.
Like, when you talk in anatomy about, like,
I'm giving a guy inspired sketch. Yeah, that's the law. As far as I know, that's fine. That's
like, the thing on the internet is that they cause, like, this big burst of anger and indignation. I might be wrong.
Where are your parents?
In the third round of 15 concept questions, each question is worth 10 points. Question number 1. This thinker introduced the literary concepts of a reversal or turning point called peripeteia and hamartia, often interpreted as tragic flaw. These concepts were presented along with catharsis in his book Poetics. In his works on logic, York 2, that is correct, question number 2. In his work, one character is forbidden to visit Pennystone Crag, but the narrator fails to prevent her from leaving home. That character describes another as more myself than I am, but due to the actions of Hindley, she marries Edgar Layton instead. This novel takes the form of a that is correct, but you are warned to wait until recognition or the next time it will be attended. Question number 3. Kelo versus City of New London claimed this amendment's takings clause included land taken for private development. Another case involving this amendment arose from a man confessing to kidnapping and raping an 18-year-old woman after 2 hours of interrogation. That man's rights from this amendment were found to be violated as he was not told his right to remain silent. That is incorrect, and a 5-point penalty for interruption, but you would have been penalized 5 points even if you had been correct, so raising for not raising for recognition. I'll repeat the question in its entirety. Kelo versus City of New London claimed this amendment's takings clause included land taken for private development. Another case involving this amendment arose from a man confessing to kidnapping and raping an 18-year-old woman after 2 hours of interrogation. That man's rights from this amendment were found to be violated as he was not told his right to remain silent. For 10 points, what amendment cited in Miranda v. Arizona protects citizens from self-incrimination? York 3. That is correct. Question number 4. The teachings of this religion stress the greater and lesser covenants. The governing institution of this religion is located at the seat of the Universal House of Justice in Haifa, Israel. This religion holds that figures such as Moses, Muhammad, and Jesus are all manifestations of God. Its primary scripture is the Book of Certitude. For 10 points, name this newest monotheistic religion based on the teachings of the Bab and the Baha'u'llah. York 1. Spell it.
B-A-R-B-I-B-I-S.
That is incorrect.
Three, two, one, time.
Correct answer is Baha'i. Question number 5. This man won both of his presidential elections against former Illinois Governor Adlai Stevenson. This man's doctrine came in response to the Suez Crisis, and his Secretary of State was John Foster Dulles. This president warned against the military-industrial complex in his farewell address and sent troops to Little Rock to enforce desegregation. York 1.
Dwight Eisenhower.
That is correct. Question number 6. Some members of this phylum use book lungs for respiration, while others have circulatory systems that pump hemolymph. Some members of this phylum have telsons at the end of their bodies, which typically are behind the uropods on those animals. All members of this phylum undergo ecdysis, Swift-Field-2.
Correct.
That is incorrect. I have 5 point penalty for correction. I repeat it. Some members of this phylum use book lungs for respiration, while others have circulatory systems that pump hemolymph. Some members of this phylum have telsons at the end of their bodies, which typically are behind the uropods on those animals. All members of this phylum undergo ecdysis, which is the shedding of their exoskeletons, which are made out of chitin. For 10 points, name this phylum of animals, which includes crustaceans and insects. Okay, York 2. That is correct. Question number 7. Nearly every saguaro cactus in the United States is found in this state's Catalina State Park. On its western border, a replica of London Bridge extends to an island in Lake Havasu. York 4. That is correct. Question number 8. In one film, this character makes a deal to erase a day from his childhood, but that day is revealed to be the day he is born. This man was to be killed during a play in a movie in which this character travels to retrieve Arthur Pendragon. In that movie, sees 2 of his companions switch bodies. The first movie with this character featured him stopping Laura Farquaad and rescuing Fiona. Field 2.
Shrek.
That is correct.
That gave it
Question number 9. The mineral form of an acid of this element is known as bacillite. The reaction of halates with acids of this element catalyzed by palladium is known as Suzuki coupling. The hydride of this element contains banana bonds, and compounds of this element, such as its trifluoride, frequently violate the octet rule. For 10 points, identify the 5th element of the periodic table symbolized Smithfield 1. That is correct. Question 10. The industrial center of this country contains the world's largest shipyard and is called Ulsan. The highest point here, Hanlasan, is located at Jeddito Island. The longest river in this country, the Nakdong, passes through Daegu and Busan. This country lies across the East Sea from Japan. York 4. That is correct. Question number 11. This man accuses future railway engineer George Stephenson of having copied his design for a safety lamp that used a fine mesh to prevent fire damp explosions in mines. An accident involving nitrogen trichloride prompted this scientist to hire Michael Faraday as an assistant. This man used electrolysis to become the first person to isolate sodium and potassium. For 10 points, identify the English scientist who discovered the elementary nature of chlorine. Correct answer is Davy. That's it. Question number 12. Francis Smith and John Pitcairn won the first stage of these battles, so that John Parker's troops had their revenge later in the day. These battles were caused by Thomas Gage attempting to capture a store of ammunition that had already been moved. Smithfield 1. That is correct, question number 13. This musical has a love triangle of the Baroness Elsa Schrader, a supplicant from the Nonbeg Abbey, and a decorated naval castle. York 1. That is correct, and you are now warned to wait till you recognize the answer. Okay, question 14. In Latin, this verb form is used in volative or purpose clauses. In Spanish, this verb form can be formed in the present by dropping the infinitive ending and conjugating it using the rule for verbs of the opposite ending. And it's York 3. That is correct in question number 15. This man had a 43-match win streak ended by a loss to Roger Federer in the semifinals of the 2011 French Open. He avoided another semifinal match with Federer at the 2011 Wimbledon when Federer lost to Joe Wilfried Tsonga after the Smithfield 1. That is incorrect. In a 5-point penalty interruption, I'll repeat that. This man had a 43-match win streak ended by a loss to Roger Federer at the semifinals of the 2011 French Open. He avoided another semifinal match with Federer at the 2011 Wimbledon when Federer lost to Joe Wilfried Tsonga. After defeating Tsonga, this man gained the top spot in the ATP rankings. For 10 points, named the Serbian tennis player who defeated Rafael Nadal to win the 2011 Wimbledon title. York 2.
All right. Really? Oh my gosh. You're like my deep.